Hey guys, so today on my mini series about fresh milled flour, we're going to be going over what mill you should get and what might kind of help your decision. So if you're new to using fresh milled flour or you're just curious and you want to learn more, hit that follow button. I'd love to have you join and share what I know and what I've learned so far. So when you're picking your mill for your wheat berries, there's a lot of different factors that can make your decision because everyone's looking for something a little different and what's going to work best for your family. So there's 3 types of mills that you can kind of choose from. So the first option is your Inpact mills. These have steel burrs inside of them that when you put the berries in there, it helps burst them and make them into fine flour. So one thing you have to keep in mind with them is that you cannot get coarse grain or cracked grains. So your Inpact mills, you're going to just be getting that fine flour and you're not going to have the option to adjust. Is basically your wheat berry is going to be on the finest setting for that one. So the 3 most popular ones for Inpact grind mills are the Wonder Mill, the NutriMill Impact, and the NutriMill Classic. So your second option is a stone mill, which is what I have. It basically has 2 stones in it that go together like this. So as you can see, on most of your stone mills, you're going to have a variety of what you can do. Your super fine to over here, which is more of your cracked grains, like the biggest kind of grinding that it would go down to. So you can kind of see which level you want. So this one gives you a little bit more option to get that super fine flour and then to also get the cracked, more bigger pieces if you are doing that in some of your recipes. So this is more of like the traditional way, just kind of like on a smaller scale because the stones are like in here and you don't have like those big stones that they used to like walk around and do. So this is just a little bit smaller scale, but it gives you a variety of things if you're looking to get those different fineness to the chunkier kind of things for your recipes. And the most popular for your stone grinders is the NutriMill Harvest, the MockMill, and the Komo mill. I hope I'm saying that right. So those would be the most popular in kind of the stone grinding over there. So the next one is your hand grind mills. So if you live off grid and you don't have electricity or you're trying to lessen the electricity, this might be a good option for you to just hand grind and get one of those. So a benefit to having one that you do by hand is you can do your wet grains like coffee and peanuts, and you can also do your flour and your wheat berries too. So it offers you kind of a little bit more. You can only do dry in this one and the Impact ones because you don't want anything wet or like that in there, because that will mess up your grinder. So don't put anything wet in these ones. So one thing to consider when you're getting a mill is the space that you have. So this one is pretty, you can see it doesn't take up a lot of space. So if you need something that's a little smaller, that might kind of help your decision on getting something also, because some of them are much bigger. And then also like the appeal, like what does it look like? Like I decorated mine because I like to have everything in front of me. So I decorated it to make it look kind of more nice. I don't know. But I mean, look doesn't really matter, but to some people it does. Like they have some really nice wood ones that look like really pretty in your kitchen. So if you're into that, those are a little more pricey, but that's something you can take into consideration too. So another thing is power usage of your mills. If this is something that worries you, the Impact mills use more wattage than the stone mills. And then obviously the crank hand ones, you don't use any electricity. So that can be a factor into you choosing one also. And also the noise can maybe be an issue too. Like if you don't like loud noises, the Impact mills are pretty noisy And these ones are kind of noisy when you start milling, but when you turn it on, it's not too bad. And when you're milling flour, you always want to turn it on before you put your wheat berries in. So I'll show you what it sounds like when you put the wheat berries in. So if you're sensitive to noise, that's kind of the difference between the Inpact and the stones. If noise is an issue, maybe you can do more of like the hand one, or you can pick this option over the Inpact. So lastly, the price of your mill can be a big factor for people. So your Inpact meals are going to be a little bit cheaper than these ones are, because these ones can get a little pricey. And then your hand crank ones, those can get kind of pricey too, but some of them can be cheaper. And then they do have like KitchenAid attachment ones that you could do, so you could always start with something small. But if you're anything like me and you love you some good deals, just go to the FB Marketplace. You know what I'm talking about, the other and that's where I found mine. I had some lady who was upgrading to a different mill. She had been milling since I don't even know, like forever. Like she's like 20 years been milling, and she finally got herself a new mill, and she sold me this one and gave me a bunch of wheat berries to try out. She was just the sweetest lady, and I got a great deal on this, and I did save a little bit money. So if they are out there, if you can find them at a thrift store or find them on the marketplace over in the FB, if you know what I'm talking about. So if you're not looking to buy new, you can always get a used option too. That's how I saved money. I love the wood one, and I would love to have that one here someday, but this one works really wonderful and I absolutely love it. So sorry this was so long, but I hope this was helpful, and hit that follow button if you want to join us on this mini series with our fresh milled flour and learning all the different things. And please drop any questions that you have below, and I will try and do my best to answer them as best as I can. As always, thank you for following along, and I'm so excited to have you guys here to learn all about fresh milled flour.